It's time to get your geek on with Dave Gramillion.
Welcome here, San Antonio. Welcome here, Texas. Welcome here, all parts of the United States and all points beyond. I am Dave Gramillion, and welcome to Get Your Geek On, powered by the Texas Renaissance Festival. With over 650,000 people attending the event from September 29th through November 25th, get your tickets at texrenfest.com. This is the premier talk radio show for Star Wars, Star Trek, DC, Marvel, esports, really all things geek that have dominated this little world of ours. You see, geek is not what it was 20 or 30 years ago. Geek is in. Geek is very in. Geek is now the mainstream, and we are here to talk the latest and greatest that is geek right here on Freedom 1160 Talk Radio and freedom1160.com. This is Season 3, Episode number 15, and today, good Lord, if you thought the heavens opened up and the rain decided to drop on San Antonio, no. That's actually geeky news dropping all over the place. There was so much news dropping, I don't know that we can honestly get to it all. We will do our very best to provide you with the best in-depth coverage, news, talk, opinion, yada, 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 but good God, there's so much news all over the place. Captain Marvel trailer was released on Tuesday. We're going to talk about that. Last Airbender is going to get a live action series on Netflix. We're going to talk about that and what the creator had to say as to why they're going to make a live action series. We got some video game news. This is real interesting. The cover of ESPN Magazine, the ESPN Magazine, you know, the one Tom Brady and LeBron are on? Yeah, a gamer has made the cover for the first time ever. And that's huge. We're going to talk about who that is. And if you haven't figured out by now that esports is a big thing, I'm going to give you some numbers that will knock you out. And then I think it was on Thursday that Disney decided, you know, we haven't broken the internet enough yet. So let's really break it open. Bob Iger started talking about Kevin Feige and the X-Men. Ooh. He also talked about Star Wars and how you can expect a slowdown. Is it a good thing or is it a bad thing? We're going to get into all that and more. But first, let me introduce my motley crew. Looking to my right, your left, across the radio dial, you will see the youngest member of our motley crew here so far, and that would be Alex Chavez, and he is known as Clickbait.
Oh.
Yo, how you doing?
I am doing great. I'm super excited. A lot of cool stuff is happening like always, but I'm really excited to talk about it like always as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of news this week, and you know what we're doing next week?
What's next week?
We're going to SeaWorld.
Ooh.
Howl-O-Scream is next week, and we're going to get
SeaWorld.
we get an exclusive back look behind the scenes kind of sneak preview tour of everything going on. SeaWorld does a fantastic job of Halloween, and we're going to bring you all the coverage that we can possibly stand and more. And you're going to be there.
I am going to be there.
So that's sweet. That's really sweet.
Is there going to be food?
Yes, there will be food.
Okay, I'm going to eat food then.
And
I'll also be there.
And you will be very scared. It'll happen.
I mean,
it'll happen.
You'll be there, so yeah, I'll be scared.
Yeah.
But
but
the haunted houses too.
But you know who's also going to be there? That'll be the man, if you're looking further to my right, your left, across the radio dial. He is the man spinning the ones and zeros, our sound prognosticator. He is Goose.
Today known as the disembodied voice.
Yes, very much so. Goose, how you doing?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm doing all right, man. So, Wizard World, man. What a ride.
Oh, well, whenever you and I go on a road trip, it gets interesting, and this was no different.
That's true. How did we end up in El Paso? I mean, we were going from San Antonio to Austin. We ended up in El Paso somehow?
You had too much coffee.
I guess so, man. I just, the wheel starts to turn, man, and, my foot taps on the accelerator over and over and over again. And next thing you know, we're in El Paso.
And you can't reason with the man when he's had way too much coffee. It just doesn't work.
No, I'm glad it's that beverage, though, that he was all hopped up on.
What was his car? I didn't let him drink anything else.
Which is a good call. Which is a very good call.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so let's go ahead and we're going to crack this thing open. Let's just jump right into it. There's way too much news to talk about to just waste time bantering around. Let's go into some Marvel news.
This is that sequel to the smash hit with no equal. This one's for the true fans with
Alrighty. So the Captain Marvel trailer, the long-awaited, gonna break the internet. Captain Marvel trailer was released on Tuesday. Yeah, Yeah. I really wasn't that big a fan of it.
Yeah, can I tell you what I thought about it?
Yeah, knock yourself out.
Garbage.
Really?
Garbage.
Garbage.
It was nothing. It didn't show us anything. It didn't. The only thing that it did is went, there's a Captain Marvel movie, and did absolutely nothing else. At least the Aquaman trailer made us see that it was going to be bad. But I felt like I didn't get anything out of it. My brother, he's a huge Captain Marvel fan. This came out, and he was super excited about it because he knows the character. He's excited to see the character. And me, I'm not a huge Captain Marvel fan, and I wasn't a huge Guardians fan, but that trailer wrapped me into the Guardians. This trailer, I couldn't care less. I was just like, okay, that's coming out, I guess.
Yeah, the memes have already come out, but two things jumped out to me. First, this looks like every other Marvel movie in the history of ever.
Yeah.
They even say at one point, space invasion and big car chase, which is what happened in a bunch of Marvel movies. And then we see her and she's doing this whole boot camp thing and, I can't even lift and I'm so weak, but I'm going to get stronger later. And I'm like, we've seen this like 100 times.
Yeah, well, not only that have we seen it 100 times, but we've seen that story specifically in another movie with a captain that they seem to be trying to separate these two. To make them their own identities. But it just seems like it's the same exact story.
Yeah, I'll still go watch it. I'm sure it'll be a good movie.
Yeah.
But the trailer did not wow me, and I kind of expected it. Now, maybe, just maybe, we're getting a little numb to the whole thing because we expect masterpieces from Marvel. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but, that's just how it is.
I mean, I expect something. Not even the masterpiece, just something.
And, of course, my favorite meme so far is her expressions. Brie Larson, who is our Captain Marvel's expressions. And you're sitting up there and you're looking and you're like, are you going to smile at some point?
Yeah, it's nothing, just deadpan.
Yeah, there's nothing there.
I think that was probably the biggest thing in the trailer for me. There was nothing fun about it. It was just like, this is going to happen. And I don't want to see dark stuff because DC did that.
Yep.
And it doesn't work. Not saying this movie's going to be dark, but just didn't seem fun.
Is it weird that I think the best moment might have been, of course, when Captain Marvel powers up at the end of the trailer. That was pretty cool. That was all right.
Definitely.
But is it weird that the best part of the trailer might have been the Blockbuster cameo?
That was so dope because I was like, as you mentioned quite a few times, 3-year-olds like myself, maybe we don't remember Blockbuster, but I do remember a little bit of Blockbuster, and that was just such like a throwback thing. And I was just like, geez.
You know what it reminds me of? And like the way they pan the shot and everything, it reminds me of when they the Stranger Things 2 trailer, and they pan down to the arcade.
Yeah.
And you get that nostalgic feeling for when we had arcades and pizza joints and all that back in the day. And now you're panning down, and there's the Blockbuster, which gets you all nostalgic, unless you live, I think there's one left in Alaska.
Yeah.
Or Portland, something like that.
Definitely.
Still has one, so we'll do that. By the way, if you are hearing the alarm, don't worry, they're just testing.
There's an alarm?
They're testing. Don't worry.
Oh
about
gosh.
it. By the way, so I went back and I watched it again because I couldn't help but notice there were a number of shots where we're looking up at the sun, right?
Yeah.
And so I went back and I watched it again and again, and I took an accurate, or at least what I believe to be an accurate count. The camera looks into the sun 6 times. It's like a minute and a half trailer. It's 6 times it looks into the sun, and 14 times you hear an air raid siren.
Wow.
14 times.
Kind of like we did.
Yeah. So I was trying to figure out, is there some significance there? I couldn't tell.
Yeah.
Is it part of the soundtrack or what? Because it got really repetitive there. So it's I'm sure it's going to be a good movie, and no, we're not judging the movie based off the trailer or anything like that. It's just one of those things that stands out to you as like, what happened? Really? This is what you're going to give us?
Definitely. And I did want to ask, Goose, I know you're being busy and everything, but just real quick, what were your thoughts on the trailer?
I liked it. Something that I think it was time for Marvel to take a step back a little bit and have more of do an origin story again, because we haven't had an origin story in a while. And I think going back to a time where Nick Fury's not so much director of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Like he's not the big dude.
Getting more into his character's past, and Phil Coulson's going to be in it. So
he looks mad hot though. Looks real good.
Yeah, buddy.
Gum, dude.
Looks real good.
But
overall, you dug it.
I dug it. Could it have been better? Yes, it could have been better. But that's true about every trailer. It could be better.
Almost every trailer.
Now, I will say this, though. Marvel trailers, by and large, are worse than the movie.
It's very true. I can see that.
Usually because the Marvel movies are so good.
Yes. However,
Yeah.
Star Wars still has yet to be that. Star Wars trailers are much better than the movies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's true.
I gotta side with you on that
That's
one.
true.
That's the other side of the Disney coin there.
Yes,
That's,
it is.
So, all right. So we know that there's going to be more space involved than almost any other Marvel movie outside of Guardians of the Galaxy. And Kevin Feige has signaled that Phase 4 will be dealing more with space than with Earth. So that's what they want. They want to boldly go where no Marvel has ever gone before. Is that really a good idea, though? Because one of the things that people love to go to the movies to see is familiarity.
Yeah.
They love seeing Chicago get blown up. They love seeing New York get blown up. They love seeing Washington, D.C. and the White House all the time get blown up. That was one of the best things about Independence Day.
Yeah. Yeah.
In a movie that was full of cliches, everyone wanted to see the White House get blown up. So now we're going to go into space to these planets in wars. Like, this is going to center around the Kree-Skrull War. Is anybody really going to care?
I mean, I don't know because the trailer doesn't even care. I know we're not talking necessarily the trailer, but the movie.
It's what we got.
Well, yeah, but the trailer has, I think, one shot with a Skrull and another shot where someone's getting hit, and it implies they're probably a Skrull. But like other than that, we have Brie Larson looking angry at the camera, and so I'm not excited for any of those things. And if they are trying to go the space route of it, I know the question is like, if that's a good idea. I don't know because they're not even showing us any of that.
Brie Larson looks like she ate a bad pickle. And she's like trying desperately not to spit it out because the camera's on her.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like something at the catering table just didn't agree with her, and she's trying to keep it down.
Yeah, no, I definitely see that.
But Goose, you're the comics expert, the aficionado of the three of us here. You're
Yes.
really into the lore.
Yes.
Do you really think the Kree-Skrull War is going to resonate with the casual moviegoer?
I didn't honestly think the Infinity Gauntlet would, but they built it up.
They did, but they're just kind of dropping this on us.
But I think it'll be fine. That's why we need. I think because we have the origin story of Captain Marvel of Carol Danvers. Then she's going to come back in Infinity War and be the hero that saves us all. And then go into that. I think we're going to have enough cachet in her as a character because she's going to have to be the leader in that.
That makes sense. So you think they're kind of building her up so that it makes sense
Yeah.
because she dealt with the whole Skrull War. Now she's going to deal with Thanos.
Again, this movie, the trailer itself makes it a little bit confusing. It looks like a lot of her Kree memories may have been implanted.
Yeah.
Again, the comics, because you have over 40 years of lore with this character, if not more, of Carol Danvers, it's a little bit hard to squeeze that into a 2-hour movie.
Yeah.
So it'll be tricky, but I'm interested to see it.
Here's my if I might draw up a comparison here. So we have an outsider from Earth who is a hotshot pilot who is now being thrust into outer space, into a different culture, involved in a different war that's been going on forever. Is it just me, or is this the Marvel version of Green Lantern?
She even has a green suit.
She even has a
With a whole group of dudes who have green
who
suits.
have green suits.
Yeah.
A whole bunch of aliens who have green suits.
And blue skin.
So is it?
And blue
so
skin.
is it just me? I mean, that seems like a pretty apt comparison there.
I think the thing that Captain Marvel is going to be kind of handicapped by is by you can draw those comparisons, and the comparisons, it doesn't help that those medias are already out there, and this is the first time we're seeing this character, and they're not doing her any favors by making it so cliche and by the book.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's another origin story. It's another direct comparison to Captain America. And now this. My big concern, if we start going into space, which Kevin Feige really, really wants to do, you take away our ability to relate.
Yeah.
Okay, we can relate to a lot about what happens with Superman because he's in the wheat fields of Kansas.
Yeah.
He comes from that small background, that small beginning, and then he goes to the big city, and you can relate to Superman a lot. You can relate to Batman in some ways a lot.
Oh, yeah.
You can relate to a lot of characters.
Star-Lord.
Because they're on Earth. They're based on Earth. It's really hard to relate to these characters in future movies if they're going to take out someplace on a distant planet somewhere, and it's space, and you see these massive buildings get toppled maybe in a war on a different planet, and you're like, I don't care?
Well, I think similar with Star-Lord, it's just going to be how they portray the characters. Because obviously, Carol Danvers is going to be in all these crazy situations. But I think that human side of it, as long as they play it correctly, it'll still make us care about it. The other characters, I don't know about.
Yeah, that's going to be an awful big question. So here's my thought. And if you're following us on the chat, we do a chat with this as well, facebook.com/GYGO radio. And Philip Gilbert actually beat me to my next point. And what if the movie does take a step back from what we expect of our Marvel quality films? And once you get past the cries of misogyny and men are horrible and patriarchy and all that, if the movie's not that good, what will that do for Avengers 4?
Absolutely nothing, I don't think.
I don't think, because she's the centerpiece of the movie.
I think what'll happen is I feel like they're waiting on that movie to come out, and they're going to be like last-minute reshoots if anything needs to happen. But I don't foresee it being a huge issue, because look at this. Iron Man 2, I think we can all agree, is not great.
No,
Does
not
that
even a
mean
little.
Iron Man took a backseat in the Avengers? No.
That's a good point.
They just made him even better in the Avengers.
Yeah,
So I think if anything, they just learned something and make him better in the next film.
But not as good as, well, they took a step back in Iron Man 3.
That's also
yeah,
true.
that's true. But I just don't foresee it. If it's not amazing, it's not going to be terrible.
All right, so Goose, final thoughts here.
Yes.
Regarding the Captain Marvel trailer.
Yes.
What do you think? I mean,
Well,
are we overreacting?
You overreact? That never happens.
I know, right?
So, but see, there was another trailer for a, quote, Captain Marvel movie that came out earlier this year, otherwise known as Shazam. So my question for y'all, who had the best trailer, Shazam or Captain Marvel?
David, I want you to answer because I think y'all already know my answer.
Shazam.
Yeah.
And like, I don't even have to hesitate, because they're two origin stories, right? So
Yes.
there's a comparison. They're both superheroes, very, very powerful superheroes. But the Shazam one looks more fun. We can relate to this character a lot better. It's not as, I mean, Captain Marvel, by comparison, looks very dark, very brooding, and very not smiling at all ever, as opposed to Shazam, which is, oh my God, this is the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, I mean, and I've already been telling y'all since, when those trailers came out at San Diego Comic-Con, Shazam, I think, was the best trailer that came out of any of that. I think that's the best, like, out of everything superhero related, it's the best trailer that's come out, in my opinion. And I think it just blows Captain Marvel out of the water. There's no comparison.
Is it the best DC trailer that we world of DC EU universe?
No, because I remember, for me personally, the Man of Steel trailer came out.
Yep.
And when that trailer came out, I was like, ooh, I need me some Superman in my life right now.
Now,
Yes.
is it weird that I think Suicide Squad was the best DC EU universe world of trailer?
Those two are not completely independent of one another, sir.
Because if you think about the trailer, the movie was awful.
The movie
Yeah.
was a piece of hot garbage.
But the trailer, man,
The trailer was
I
really
remember
good.
everybody was talking about that Suicide Squad trailer the next day.
I think the Suicide Squad is an amazing comic book in real life.
Yeah.
Because it's very simple, it's very just kind of dumb, and if you read certain comic book storylines, it's par for the course. It just doesn't translate to the
Now,
big screen.
we haven't gotten Goose's answer. What was the better trailer?
Shazam.
Yep, Shazam. So it's 3-0. It's a sweep.
Yep.
It's a clean sweep. And is it the best DC Universe best of world trailer ever?
No.
I don't know what to call it nowadays. It's whatever.
Well,
it's the
yeah.
Warner Brothers DC World of Universe EU. I think. Comics.
I like this. I like the Justice League trailer a lot.
Ooh, with Come Together? Oh, that was so good.
Yeah.
That if I would have known how the Justice League movie was going to come out, I would have gone to the theater and paid for my ticket and been like, "Can you just show me the trailer? Like, just play the trailer on
Can I just
loop
see the
for
trailer,
2.5 hours."
Like the Phantom Menace when everyone showed up to watch Meet Joe Black.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And it was just to watch the trailer and then everybody left.
yeah,
Like, yeah, Brad Pitt in some kind of golf movie. Whatever, I don't care.
yeah. Everyone went to go see it, but no one actually saw it.
Exactly. So we'll monitor this as it goes forward. So far, it's definitely, I wouldn't call the trailer swing and a miss, but definitely foul off. Definitely fouled it off.
Yeah.
All right, speaking of which, we have some Last Airbender news. This is a long time, but let's talk about this.
Ooh.
Okay, so If you'll recall, back during PAX South, the gaming convention held here in San Antonio in January, I got to sit down with Michael Dante DiMartino, one of the creators of The Last Airbender. A terrific guy, great interview. It worked out really well, and I thank him for his time. And now he's been able to announce that Netflix is producing a live-action series of The Last Airbender. Wow. Okay. This came right out of nowhere. There were kind of hints and whispers, but there are hints and whispers of everything.
Yeah.
So this was huge clickbait. Have you seen The Last Airbender?
Yes, I have. I'm not the biggest fan of it. No, not like I don't like it. I like it. But like kind of like Pokemon, where like I've watched Pokemon. I like Pokemon, but I'm not engulfed into it. I haven't seen every single episode.
Gotcha.
I'm not following along with everything. I understand the Fire Nation's bad. I understand Aang for some reason is pretty good, and then he struggles, and then for some reason just finds out how to do everything and wins at the end of every episode. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, that's about right. It is, in my opinion, it is one of my top 3 favorite animated series of all time.
By the way, Get Your Geek On alum Greg Delisle voiced a character or two in that show.
That's right. She was Azula, the absolutely whatever crazy character that was on there. I mean, she was incredible. Great voice actress to match Azula's intensity. Again, my top 3 in no particular order, because you can't do that. Batman the Animated Series, Animaniacs, and Avatar the Last Airbender.
Greetings, you worthless peasants. I am Grey Delisle, the voice of Azula.
That's right. That's
Yep.
right. Great interview, too, by the way. That was awesome. She flirted with me on air. It was awesome.
So do you
Good
think
time.
it's necessary?
Well, I kind of wondered where this was coming from, and then he made a statement on his Facebook page. And the statement says, quote, "We can't wait to realize Aang's world as cinematically as we always imagined it to be." Now, I'm going to stop right there. Notice how he already said cinematically, as we always imagined it to be.
Definitely.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, M. Night Shyamalan. The quote goes on, "And with a culturally appropriate, non-whitewashed cast. Netflix is wholly dedicated to manifesting our vision for this retelling, and we're incredibly grateful to be partnering with them." That is a direct quote from Michael Dante DiMartino. It's no secret that the movie sucked.
Oh, did it?
The movie was garbage. It was terrible. Even if you're not a fan of the series, people didn't like it.
I don't think the movie sucks, because then that's being really mean to other things that actually suck. Because then, I think the movie's worse.
This
than
joint.
sucking.
You think it's that bad? So even if you didn't watch the series, the movie was just awful.
No, the movie makes no sense. It's I would rather watch the Dragon Ball movie.
Wow, wow, that is low. Okay,
That's an insult, right?
That one's easier to make fun of.
Wow. All right, so the movie was bad.
Yeah.
And it's no secret also that the creators were not fans of the movie. I mean, practically nobody was.
Oh, yeah.
So this is them saying, we want to do it our way. We want to have it up on the big screen, as big as Netflix can be, because it also goes on your phones, which is tiny. But we want to do it our way. We want to do it the right way. And as a big fan of the animated series, I'm excited by this. I'm excited because of who is at the helm. The original creators, minus Dave Filoni, will be in on this. And, I mean, if anybody can do it right, if anybody can replicate the formula, it's got to be the guys who created it in the first place.
I'm just excited that Netflix is doing this project, because, being someone who's not fully, engulfed into The Last Airbender, you don't have to be an expert on Daredevil. I know Marvel helped with that, but you don't have to be an expert to get into Marvel's Daredevil on Netflix.
I've never actually seen a full episode of Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Really?
Goose, I will show you.
See,
we'll take care of that.
I'm very interested into seeing how the new audience can pick up this series. Like, if it's like you don't have to have watched the original Last Airbender series, if you can just jump into this, Korra doesn't matter, none of the extra stuff matters, just this.
Now,
I'm really interested.
Now, the thing about the series you have to understand is it starts off very childish, very kid-friendly, but it's part of the arc. There's a reason why everybody says, "Oh, well, Luke was so whiny in A New Hope."
So was Anakin in episode 1, by the way.
Right, but the idea, though,
We're
is
talking
that
about good movies.
It's part of his character arc. In order to rise to great heights, you have to start low.
Yeah.
The problem with Anakin Skywalker is he was whiny in all 3 movies and he didn't change. He had no arc. Luke had the arc and Aang and the rest of the cast had the arc as well in Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah.
And there's one episode in there, The Tales of Ba Sing Se. Once you watch the series up to that point or you rewatch it, dude, if you're not grabbing Kleenex by the end of that episode, I don't know what's wrong with you. I mean, that is a powerful episode. And we actually interviewed one of the main characters from that. That would be Dante Bosco, who was the voice of Zuko. And he called it one of the great highlights of his career. It was incredible, the turnaround that his character had.
Definitely. And I was just really excited because you mentioned Zuko, right?
Yeah.
Zuko being one of those other characters as well that just is ridiculous and goofy at the start of that show, and then he totally changes.
Yeah,
very
he's
mature, comes into his own as a character.
Very
later.
close-minded, very focus-driven, very immature, actually.
Yeah.
Considering where he starts to where he ends. His worldview changes drastically. So kind of went off on a little bit of a tangent there. My point is, go watch the series and then go watch this series. Because
Definitely.
I'm sure it's going to be in very, very capable hands. Coming up after the bottom half of the hour news break, we got some esports news I want to get into. And Disney, holy cow, did Bob Iger decide to wreck the internet? We'll be right back here after we break for the news on Freedom 1160 and freedom1160.com. Alrighty, welcome back from the bottom of the hour news break. This is Get Your Geek On Freedom 1160 Talk Radio, powered by the Texas Renaissance Festival. With over 650,000 people attending the event from September 29th through November 25th, get your tickets at texrenfest.com. I am Dave Gramillion, and if you missed the first half of the show, we talked quite a bit about the Captain Marvel trailer and how it really did nothing to break the internet. It was kind of impressive. And Clickbait thought it was absolute hot garbage.
So Breeze 0 for 2.
So pretty much. Ugh.
Garbage.
We talked about where we're going to go with the Avengers, with Marvel going forward after what they call Phase 4. And we also talked some Last Airbender news. Probably the first time since January we've talked about that, but we have a live-action series coming on Netflix. If you missed it, don't worry about it because you can listen to it on our award-winning podcast. Yes, that's right. The very best podcast in San Antonio, the 7th largest city in the nation, as voted upon by readers of San Antonio Magazine. And you can find that on Spotify, Google Play, iTunes, Stitcher, and Omni.
And for other providers not mentioned, please go to tinyurl.com/Geigo podcast.
Outstanding. Very cool. Also, while we're on the subject of the Texas Renaissance Festival, let me just kind of, we mentioned it briefly here, but let me talk about them for a bit. So their shindig starts next week, isn't it? No,
It starts
2 weeks.
Saturday.
It starts Saturday. Oh, that's right. Yeah, this coming Saturday. And oh my God, this is, the more I read about this, the better it looks. And by that I mean I've never gone myself. I've heard about it before, especially high school, college around there.
Fantastic.
But yeah, it just looks absolutely incredible. Kids get in for free on Sunday if they're 13 and under, by the way, so that's always good.
So I'm good.
So yeah, you're covered there.
Yeah.
No problem. They have 200 acres of campgrounds, so you can stay for the weekend because it's to the northwest of Houston. They have an after dark type of thing set up, so that's pretty cool.
Sounds like our kind of party.
Yeah, no kidding. They also have themed weekends. I'm very excited about the themed weekends. The first one's Oktoberfest. I love it.
I know you said you haven't gone, but you know how when you go to Comic-Con and cosplayers are trying to be in character? This is the epitome of everyone being in character.
Everybody, the whole time.
Yeah, like the people who work there, like the people who are running the shops and
Yeah.
serving you food and all that. It's hilarious, and sometimes it's really funny because they're like, "Oh, ye lass, here's your cheeseburger."
Here's your cheeseburger.
Yeah, and I'm like, "Isn't this like medieval times?" But
Exactly, like from Cable Guy.
yeah, exactly.
They said, can I have a refill on my Pepsi?
Oh, they have something like that. Like they do the whole thing, the jousting contest and everything. It's great, absolutely amazing.
All right, so you want to head over, you can get your tickets at texrenfest.com. That's texrenfest.com. Okay, so let's dive right into some video game news. Been a little while since we talked about that, but let's hit it up. And this segment is brought to you by our friends over at the Heroes and Villains of Cosplay. Hey, San Antonio, if you have questions about cosplaying, if you just were looking for a group of friends to hang out with, I was with them over at Night Watch Games not too long ago. They were just sitting down playing tabletop and having a good time. If you have questions about cosplaying, if you're worried that you're not going to be screen accurate, or you don't even know what to cosplay, they will answer all of your questions over at the Heroes and Villains of Cosplay, also known as Havoc. Alrighty, so let's talk about this for a little bit. ESPN the magazine usually has on its cover Tom Brady, maybe I think Jimbo Fisher made it once for all you Aggie fans out there, Tom Herman for the Longhorns, LeBron James will frequently grace the cover, some
LeBron
Olympics,
James.
that sort of thing. How about a video gamer type person?
It would never happen, David. No.
It officially happened. What? I know. Crazy as it is. And this is not like, a special edition for gamers only or whatever. It's the actual legit ESPN magazine. I have a copy of it at home. It's actually kind of cool.
That's nuts.
This guy who's on it, his name is Ninja. That's his handle. His name is Tyler Blevins, and he's a Fortnite streamer, which, by the way, has been cited for over 200 divorces in the UK.
Yeah, I was reading about that this week.
That's kind of weird. So he made the cover. He's up there. He's all beaming. He's all happy and smiling and all that. And I was wondering, so why'd they pick this guy? Out of all the gamers out there, on all the games out there, why did they roll with this guy? Yeah, he actually played a Fortnite game with Drake.
Yeah,
on his Twitch stream.
Definitely did. I think it was at the time, it was one of the largest streams out.
I think so. Yeah. He broadcast a beta of Call of Duty Blackout. 271,000 people watched. It's a guy playing video games, and because he had the beta and because he's Ninja, 271,000. That's like 10% of San Antonio.
We are in the wrong business.
Ain't that the truth? It gets even better. So I did some more digging because I wanted to learn about this guy, and now I want this guy's life, or at least his bank account. In April, he logged the most social media interactions in all of sports.
Jeez.
Not esports.
Just sports in general.
Sports in general. He had more social media interactions than Ronaldo and Shaq.
So him being on the ESPN cover for the magazine, was that because they're kind of doing that? I know it's for the actual magazine, but was it like an esports kind of spin because he plays competitively?
At ESPN, they have their own esports division, and it's been growing. They hosted a tournament. I think it was ESPN 3 was showing an esports tournament. And it's been growing larger and larger. Now, if you listen to the show for any particular point in time, you've heard us talk about esports. It's a $1 billion industry. Robert Kraft, the guy who owns the Patriots, also owns an Overwatch team. So this is getting really, really huge. And this really personifies it in a way that really brings it home. Here's some stats. If this doesn't blow you away, I don't know what will. He earns $300,000 a month just from Twitch subscribers.
Jeez. And then he owns it. Of
course. Now that doesn't consider his sponsorships from Samsung, Red Bull, and Uber Eats. He gets $300,000 a month from Twitch subscribers.
I wonder how much he got paid to play that Call of Duty beta, because they had to give him some kind of money.
Oh, they had to. I mean, other than just for us, people would just send us free stuff, and they'll be like, "Here, you get it for free, and that's it. Please promote it." He had to get paid for.
Yeah, they're like, you get 50 of these for free, and here's like $1 million or something.
Something like that.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
So he has, and this was, I think at last I checked, this was on Thursday, 11.3 million followers only on Twitch.
Jeez.
That is the same. I looked this up. This is pretty interesting stuff. That's the same as if every man, woman, and child in Vermont, Maine, New Hampshire, Hawaii, Idaho, West Virginia, and Nebraska combined.
We just got to ups our Twitch game, brother.
Yeah, ain't that the truth? Holy cow.
Gotta get good at Fortnite.
Yeah, think about that. Every man, woman, and child in all of these states combined were following him. That's the equivalent. Vermont, Maine, New Hampshire, Hawaii, Idaho, West Virginia, and Nebraska. It's almost the same as if the entire population of New York City and LA were following him on Twitch. Jeez. He played a clip on Instagram that got 5.2 million views in 2 days. I mean, this is incredible, and they're calling the article. You ready? You ready for this?
Go ahead.
Living the stream.
Wow.
Boy.
That hurt me.
So I mean, this is incredible. Now he says that he doesn't do a lot of tournaments because he loses money. His money is based off of streaming. So if he goes to a tournament, he can't stream. So he loses those followers, he loses subscribers, he loses money.
Definitely.
So he plays every single day. And if he's not playing, he's thinking about the game. And he's good. He's really good at what he does.
Oh, yeah, he's ridiculously good.
He's not the absolute best, but he's up there. He's in definitely the upper echelon. But if he doesn't play, he loses money. But he's getting $300,000 a month.
Yeah, you would think maybe like for a day he could not, do something.
Could take a day off.
Yeah,
Show a
maybe.
highlight clip, best of or something.
Something, yeah.
Base salary of $3.6 million a year from Twitch.
If he wants to host a channel, I know a channel that could use some followers.
Yeah, wouldn't that be nice? That'd be pretty cool.
I'd say the name of it, but I'm not entirely sure that the name is changed yet.
It's been a little while since we visited our Twitch stream. We'll have to change that at some point. So esports is kind of a thing.
Little bit of a thing. It's kind of an indie thing. Not a whole lot of people are into it. Maybe it'll get bigger. We'll see.
Maybe. It all depends. I mean, you never know. But the thing is, what really grabs me when it comes to esports is, yes, you have to be really good, but you don't need the very best equipment.
Oh, not at all.
You can be an esports Twitch streamer on your laptop, provided the laptop is, a reasonable processor and RAM.
Definitely.
But you can do it off your PS4 or your Xbox.
Oh, yeah, it's really easy to stream at this
So
point.
you don't need this Uber GeForce graphics card. You don't need 64 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM or DDR5 or whatever. You don't need that. You just have to be able to just not suck.
And
Or you could suck, but on purpose, and it'd be really funny, and you still get followers.
Not even on purpose, just have a personality. And I think one of Ninja's great things, besides the fact that he's just really talented, is he has a great personality. He's very personable. He loves his fans. People love interacting with him. And that's probably the biggest key, is it's not just the video games, it's the way he performs.
So in case you haven't been following esports whatsoever, it's kind of time to get on the esports bandwagon. Overwatch, the next season, is going to start to kick up here pretty soon. They're expanding into additional markets, more franchises, more cities are being involved. The international, by the way, for Dota 2, the prize pool finally got over the $25.5 million mark.
Jeez.
The first place team will go home with 11.4 mil.
So if they need any help with the San Antonio League, I know of a page called at Geigo Radio that they can message.
Absolutely, man. So. We should get on board. Like UTSA needs to get on board with some type of an esports Chamber of Commerce. Hey, Cheryl Scully, I'm looking downtown. I'm looking right at you right now. She probably can't tell. That's okay.
By the way,
but,
Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, Geigo Radio.
There you go. Cheryl Scully, come on. We need to get on the ball here. There's no reason why we can't have an esports league, tournament, whatever of our own down here. I mean, come on. Let's get on the ball. $300,000 a month just from Twitch.
I wish I had 300 of anything a month.
Well, you're young enough. You just need to get on the ball and start practicing.
That's true. I just need to get better at Fortnite.
Pretty much.
You build faster.
Quit your job, play Fortnite 24/7. It'll be all right.
I don't think it works that way.
That's not how the Force works.
Yeah, that's not how the Force works.
Alrighty, so there's your bit of esports news. I mean, good gracious, it floors me. It just blows my mind. $300,000 a month just from Twitch. All right, with that being said, let's go ahead and we're going to scroll on over to some Disney news, shall we? Baby.
Ooh. You said we're going to scroll on over. Was that a reference to the Captain Marvel trailer?
Yes, it was.
A little bit. I'm glad you picked up on that. Very nice. All right, so just when you thought there wasn't enough news out there, which there wasn't enough news, we have Bob Iger started talking. And anytime Bob Iger, the CEO and, let's face it, God of Disney right now, whenever he starts talking, then it just goes absolutely bonkers. Anything he says is just magnified on a magnificent scale, an absolute magnificent scale, because he's, the God of Disney. That's just
definitely
whatever he says, everyone's going to hear it. Something that you should also hear is everything going on over at Dragon's Lair of Alamo Ranch on the west side of San Antonio. 151 and 1604. They just put out a video recently, how to play Ticket to Ride. on their Facebook page, and they'll do this. It's not just a comic store. It's just not a graphics novel store, right? What it is this store where you can go and ask questions and learn how to play games. They will walk you through. That's what I really like about them, is that they will take the time to not just find a game for you, but help you learn that game as well. And that's our friends over at Dragon's Lair of Alamo Ranch. All right, so Bob Iger said that he admitted, and he took responsibility and the blame for too many Star Wars movies too fast. We got our first one in 2015, and we've had 4 in the last 3 years. It's too much. It's too fast. He said, my bad. We're going to slow down. We're going to slow your roll there, Professor. And they're going to not stop the movies, but maybe we're not going to get one every 6 months to a year. And, I don't know that that's a good thing. I think it's good that they're taking their breath right now. Nothing's coming out until December of next year, which is good. I'm all on board with that. But at the same time, we're getting 3 Marvel movies a year. And there's no burnout with Marvel. We want more Marvel. We're demanding more Marvel. Nobody cares about that. I don't think it's the speed of Star Wars. I just think that the movies just haven't been spectacular.
You're being very kind.
I am.
The movies have been garbage.
Oh, shut up. They've not been garbage.
Ooh, Goose's hot take.
Rogue One was garbage.
Rogue One was garbage.
Rogue One was not a good movie, and I will stand by that all the time. Rogue One was not a good movie.
Force Awakens was basically an Episode 4 remake.
Goose, let's play a game real quick. Name the movies that have come out in the last 3 years, Star Wars films that are not garbage.
Force Awakens.
I'm glad. Oh, you had something to say.
Solo.
Last Jedi.
Solo was not garbage.
I haven't seen Solo, so
boo.
But Force Awakens was borderline garbage. Last Jedi took risks, but as you've seen, that's got a lot of fan hate.
Yeah.
So if you're looking at it from a fan love perspective, yes, everything's been garbage. But if you look at it from a quality standpoint, I'll give you Last Jedi. I haven't seen Solo, so I have to remain neutral on that.
Solo is the Ant-Man of that series.
The thing that Rogue One had going for it, which I really enjoyed, is that you can't make a sequel out of it.
Yeah, that's true.
Although you could argue that A New Hope was the sequel.
Well, actually, what you could do, you could take the people from Rogue One and the Avengers that didn't make it in Infinity War and make a movie on that. It's called The Beach.
Oh,
wow.
Dang.
Wow. Okay,
Dang.
Shots fired. I would say right now they're 2 for 4. As far as garbage goes, okay, we're talking like Suicide Squad level garbage. That's Rogue One.
Man.
And you could make an argument for The Last Jedi.
The
Force Awakens was a passably good movie. You've got passionate characters, they're acting well. If you take away the one giant criticism, which is, like the last half of it is like basically A New Hope redone. But if you take that away, it's a pretty good movie.
Man, I think you're being really mean to these Star Wars films because you're comparing them to Suicide Squad. And I know earlier I mentioned that I thought Suicide Squad was definitely a good comic film. Not a great film.
No, it had a good trailer.
Definitely. It's definitely good in the way of it pretends to be the comic. But I don't think it's anywhere near as... I don't think any of the Star Wars films are anywhere near as bad as Suicide Squad.
Well, okay, but we're talking garbage. Not that it wasn't a good movie. Not that it had issues. We're talking garbage.
Not steaming pile of garbage on fire.
That would be two out of the 4.
Any of them are garbage. Personally, I didn't feel that any of them were garbage, in my opinion. But I'm also not the huge Star Wars heads that you guys are.
Well, anyways, so went off on a bit of a tangent there. So they're slowing down on the Star Wars movies, which is okay. I don't care. I really don't care if we get one every 6 months or if it's every 18 months. I don't care. I just want them to be good movies. And 2 out of the 4 of them have been good movies, and 2 out of the 4 have not.
I mean, I don't know. I think it's good if we get I want it to be back in the there was a time not too long ago where we would get a really good movie.
Yeah.
And then we'd build an anticipation for a year and get it 2 years later. And then those movies paid off because you had time to work on that script. You had time to test it. You had time to expand on that. And now we're getting them every year. And I think that's part of the reason we have all these mixed bag movies.
But we also get 3 Marvel movies a year.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, with that, I've been thinking about this.
Okay.
With the Marvel movies, when the first round came out, there was no expectations to anything. When they do an origin story, when they introduce a new one, there's no real expectation of anything. With Star Wars, there's expectation all over the place. Basically, people want basically a remake of the original trilogy until they see it. Then it's like, that's just a remake of the original trilogy.
That's true. The fans, the fans. I've got some thoughts about what the fans really want.
Oh, you do,
and I'll expand on those later because we don't have that much time left.
No, we don't.
But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. It's just don't suck. I think that's really the bottom line. I could get a Star Wars movie every 3 months, as long as they don't suck. And I think that's part of the issue right now is that they're not wowing us with these movies. I look forward to a Marvel movie, even Captain Marvel. I'm looking forward to it. They have a track record of success of blowing me away with the quality of their films. When it comes to the Star Wars movie, the only thing I'm looking forward to is watching the fans eat themselves.
I don't know. I just don't agree because like The Dark Knight, for example. Dark Knight's great, right? You know why? Because there were only 3 in the Dark Knight trilogy. And The Dark Knight is amazing, and they didn't try to make 50 of them. You have you have really good Marvel movies, and then you have some Marvel movies that get away with being okay.
Like what?
Like both Ant-Man movies.
Well, the second one, yeah, but the first one was actually pretty good.
The first one was pretty good, but it was just okay. Think about it. All 4 of the original Phase 1 films before the Avengers, they're just passable films. None of them
they're not great.
are absolutely amazing, except Iron Man. Iron Man, I think, is exceptional. The other ones are just kind of like
the first Thor movie was okay.
So you made
that's my point.
I thought it was pretty good.
But they're just okay.
You made a comparison to the Dark Knight trilogy. The thing about superhero movies is this: by and large, until the Marvel Cinematic Universe came out, you could do only a decade worth of a single franchise before they aged out.
Yeah.
And they exist in different universes. Star Wars has never had a multiverse issue. They've always said it exists in one universe. And with the exception of Solo and basically Rogue One, they pretty much stuck to that continuity. They did they called them
chronologically. Yeah.
So, but you reboot the entire Star Wars franchise, you're going to have fans, burning down Disney World.
You know what the biggest problem Star Wars has, or has had since 2015?
The fans.
Well, besides that, the biggest problem with this is that there's no continuity in their movies. And I mark the tape. This is the absolute biggest problem, is that it looks like the way they're making movies is throwing darts at a board. You've got Rogue One, which takes place around the time of A New Hope. You have Solo, which takes place before Rogue One, I think.
Around episode 3, maybe?
But yeah, like a little after episode 3, maybe. And then you've got episode 7 and episode 8, which are way ahead. They're 30-something years, 30, 40 years in the future. You got the prequels, which are way in the past. There's no continuity. Rogue One has nothing to do with Solo. Solo has nothing to do with A New Hope. A New Hope has nothing to do with The Force Awakens. Force Awakens has nothing to do with Rogue One. They're all over the place. Had they followed the Marvel formula, and had they made the standalone movies be in relation to episodes 7 and 8, I don't think we would have as big a problem as we do right now, because there would be some continuity. Right now, I don't know what the next movie's going to be about. It could be anything, and that is a problem.
Well, I mean, I totally understand what you're saying, and I don't think that that's necessarily the problem. I think it's that they do it poorly. Because if you think about it, Captain America came out in 2011, and it took place not chronologically with these other films.
It's his origin story. Yeah.
Exactly. Captain Marvel's coming out, and it's not taking place chronologically at all from where we are right now. But the point is that they did those well, and they educated the fans, kind of going like, hey, this is what we're doing. It works into this. And I feel like Star Wars kind of forces, hey, this works into this, but we don't care enough.
I think we should have had like a Finn origin story where he's a stormtrooper for the First Order, where he gets his doubts, where he's a good trooper who follows orders, if you catch my reference there. and then he starts to have his doubts, and maybe he does something cool, blah, 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 blah. Maybe we should have had a Captain Phasma story. The fact that we did not have a Captain Phasma movie is a giant mistake by Disney. And I mean, a colossal misstep by Disney. Not having Captain Phasma be even a factor in episode 7 and 8, that's bad enough. but you could have intertwined these movies a lot tighter. So you see the Captain Phasma standalone in, say, 2016, and you're like, oh man, now I can't wait to see episode 8 because I want to see how Phasma's going to factor into the next movie.
You're right. They won't do that, but they'll shove in a character from the books into The Last Jedi.
That we don't need.
Yeah, no, you're definitely right.
I mean, it literally is them throwing darts at a board and be like, you know what, this one computer programmer, this is the true story, this one computer programmer wants to do a Rogue One movie, so let's do that.
Definitely.
You know, we've always wanted to know where Solo got his name from. Let's do that. When you could
Nobody
have
wanted to
had,
know that.
I mean, Ant-Man shows up in Civil War. Okay, Wanda and Vision have their relationship, and that factors into the Infinity War movie.
Definitely.
And because you don't have that continuity, because you're shotgun blasting this all over creation, it's a colossal misstep. That's the problem right there that these movies are having.
So you're saying consequences. There are no consequences in these films. Like from the previous movies, don't affect the future movies.
Right. And there's nothing to look
Makes sense.
forward to. There's no Phasma standalone, so I'm not looking forward to seeing Phasma in episode 8. There's no hype, there's no build-up, and it's a big-time error on their part. Instead, they're just making it up as they go. That's why the ending of Solo got me hopeful, because I'm like, yes, now we have a movie that'll tie into something else. Now I can get excited about Solo 2, which I guess they'll call Duo, because I know what's coming. I can see this coming. I can build on it. And I'm like, yes, good move.
Do you think it'll be like...
Now they're slowing down, and I'm like, ah!
I think it'll be like Solo, The Rise of Cup.
Solo 2, the duet.
Oh, wow.
And you could have Palpatine, duet.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I
okay.
like that very
I don't like this anymore. I don't want to be here.
Oh, my goodness. So, all right. So that's the music, which means the fastest hour on radio is officially in the books.
Ow.
That'll wrap it up here for Goose, for Alex, and for myself. I want to thank our sponsors, the Texas Renaissance Festival, Dragon's Lair Alamo Ranch, Havoc, and the Mailing Spot. By the way, we have a couple of spots open for advertisers. We did pick up as a partner SeaWorld of San Antonio. So if you want in, shoot us an email, davethehost@getyourgeekon.org. Thank you for listening, and get your geek on every single day.